Okay, let me I'm sorry, I'm logging in.
Still loading.
Okay. I was like, okay.
But I had already
We live, baby. Can people leave us like live comments that we can see?
Yeah, I see us.
You on YouTube?
I see us. Okay, we're live. Okay.
We out here, soulmates.
Okay. This is the first time we went live on YouTube, so we're so excited. Is everyone ready to get started?
Yes, I'm super excited for this.
Oh my gosh. Can I share this? Can I share this link?
I'm pretty sure we could like copy the link and share it to our.
I want to share it real quick.
Oh dang! I don't want YouTube to see me. Hold on. Hold
on. All right, guys, stay tuned. We are live. Wow. Okay, hold on. We're live on YouTube.
Okay, this is exciting. My computer is fixed. I'm
so
happy to be back in business, y'all.
Soul Filling. Soul Filling. Thing like, who are you talking about? We are, but they know who we are. What you mean?
They know who he is.
Soul Filling is live on YouTube.
Did you go to YouTube and see us?
Yeah. Join us. Okay. That's so cool to me. Okay. Anyways, let me know when you're ready. Everybody's ready.
You know what? I'm gonna just share as we going because I don't want to take up too much time.
Okay.
I don't see us. Did you get a notification or you went to?
Oh, I logged in.
Oh, you logged in
YouTube. Then I follow our Soul Filling page, so it popped up automatically as the first video.
Oh, I logged into my own thing and I didn't realize.
Oh, I see us. Okay.
Let me manage your comments. Okay.
Why is the share option not here? Oh, big.
Someone just
Facebook.
I wonder if I can watch as we go, because I can't see it on our actual one. Oh yeah, I can. Okay. Okay, got it. I want to see how we can moderate if somebody comes on. Okay, we really do need a third person to help us like moderate. Anyways, all right, y'all ready?
We ready?
Okay. Welcome to another episode of Soul Filling. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Kobe.
And today we are talking about working backwards. Okay, I'm trying to get in the center of this. And so I came upon this topic as I was watching a show on YouTube by Anthony O'Neill. Hopefully he's on our show soon. And he had someone on his show, and I don't remember who he was, but he was talking about, he said one thing that stuck out to me. He said, once you create the moment you create your destination is the moment your destiny will follow. And I was just like taken aback, like that makes sense. And I think a lot of times we're all trying to figure out how we're trying to figure out how to get to the next step, when we don't know what our actual goal is in life. Honestly, more so, a lot of times where they say like, are you just surviving or are you thriving? To be honest, like, even though I grew up in the suburbs and I didn't have very many hardships, like, things, I never had to want for anything. But at the same time, trying to be self-sufficient in its own, trying to make sure I could live on my own by myself, my mindset had went to, how can I make as much money as I can? But also, how can I be free doing that? But in actuality, I think we need to decide between if we like decide between both things, not decide between both things. I think we can have both, but make a plan for both things. How can we get the life we want while also getting this money and surviving in this life? And I don't think we could do it unless we have a vision of a destination. You know, the Bible says, and you know, I'm going to quote this wrong. Those that do not have vision perish. And I believe that's in every, yeah. And I believe that's in every avenue of our lives. If you don't have a vision in your relationship, if you don't have a vision in your job, if you don't have a vision for yourself, then it's going to perish. If we don't have a vision for soul filling, it's going to perish. So, you know, I know a lot of us are like trying to figure it out right now, especially during the pandemic. Where do I want to take my life? Where do I want to go? And those are great questions to ask right now.
No, that I couldn't agree with you more. And when I thought about when you presented this topic to us too, and you was like working backwards, the first thing that came in my mind was to have an agenda, to have an agenda. And basically, when you think about working backwards, like you said, it's you're having that vision. And so, and for me, it's like having an agenda. And so when you have an agenda, like, so I wrote down a couple of points, like, what is the purpose of working backward? What's the purpose of even having an end goal in mind? And it basically is, when you have an end goal, it tells us what needs to be done. So if you know your end goal in finances is to save $1,000, it's telling you, okay, that first initial instinct with your money is gonna, when you're about to spend or save or whatever the case may be, you'll have that end goal in mind, and it'll control your current actions. 2, it makes sure things and people stay on track. And so that's what's most important, because a lot of times we're gonna veer off. And we might, like, even if when we have our meetings, we might touch on and go on a tangent and start talking about something else, like how it's 4th of July or whatever the case may be or something. But if you have that end goal, you can always bounce back and get back on track. You know, you have a key focal point you can always come back to. But if you don't have a focal point, you're just gonna keep on going on tangents, and you'll do things because it's just you're free flowing. And 3, it allows people to know what's happening now and what's going to happen next. So we always have when we have our meetings, we're talking about what we want to accomplish now, but then we're like, okay, for next meeting, it doesn't even have to be what's going to happen 5 years from now. It could just be like, okay, what needs to happen by next meeting, or what needs to happen by next week or next 3 days, or so forth and so on. So when you have that end goal in mind, you know what you're doing for today, and you know why you're doing it, and what's going to happen, not necessarily what's going to happen tomorrow, but what you're aiming for tomorrow. And then last, it gives life purpose. It gives your actions purpose. It gives the things that we're doing a meaning as to why we're doing these things. So I just think having that mindset to working backwards, having that vision, having that agenda in mind, it would just give us so much more. It would make our actions so much more meaningful.
Absolutely, I agree.
I totally agree with that, because like you were saying earlier, Tiff, when you don't have that goal in mind, I know for me, a big struggle of my life was, I knew I wanted to be in the public health field. I knew I wanted to do something related to, health related, but I didn't have like a specific end goal, a specific job title. So it left me being in this, on the fence quite a bit, throughout my younger, like the college days, when I was time to decide like a major, or when it was time to decide what I was going to do after college. I really struggled quite a bit because I did not have that end goal in mind, or that destination in mind. I was like, I could do nursing, or I could become a doctor, or I could do, be an administrator, or I could be a pharmacist. It was just, it left the table open up to so many options, and it left me, just one year I'm doing this, the next year I'm doing it. I was just all over the place with it. So I really do believe, like you were saying, Jazz, that when you work backwards, when you have that end goal in mind, it helps you stay on track. It gets you to get like on a time frame, like that's your time on target, you're able to, and we actually kind of use it in our daily lives. I didn't realize, I was like working backwards, you know, have I haven't really used it, but I realized the other day, I was like, you know what? I actually kind of do that in my daily life. So for
Okay.
an example, one weekend I had to go to a coworker's baby shower. And I knew her baby shower started at 12, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, I got to wake up, do this podcast. And I needed to go get a gift as well. So I worked backwards. I was like, okay, I know Kyle wants to go. So baby shower is 51 minutes from his house. Okay, so we need to be at least leaving by 11:10, 11:10,
Yeah.
right? And then I was like, okay, I got to go figure out, I got to get a gift. Okay, looked up, saw what she needed on her registry. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get this gift. Snap, it's not at the Target or Walmart by me. It's 20 minutes down the road, going the opposite direction of Kyle's house. Dang.
Ooh.
Okay, so I need to be, that's about 30 minutes from Kyle. So I need to be getting to Walmart at least by 10 o'clock, you know, sitting here, like, give me time to shop, put the gift together, do what I need to do. Okay, so that means we need to start this podcast on time, do this, you know what? Okay, I'm going to get ready before the podcast, get my hair, makeup, outfit already ready. So by the time I'm, you know, we done, I can just hop in the car, go get the gift, and there we go. So that was in, you know, didn't realize it, but that was backwards planning. I knew I had to be somewhere at 12 and I started my morning off and it worked backwards. And so you could take that simple tool and just use it in your daily life and then also use it to implement or to reach bigger goals for yourself.
Man, I love that you said that because we always use this backwards planning and we don't even be knowing it. Like
No.
anything like that's important that we're planning, whether we're planning having a business plan, throwing a party. You're gonna need to know what time the party gonna start, the decor, who get the decoration, who got the drinks, you know, the date. So a wedding, you don't just go and say, okay, you propose, now we get, okay, let's just go to a building and just be married. No, even for a home, you need a blueprint. They're not just gonna start hammering stuff down. Like, you know, everything needs a plan. And I love that you said that we use it in our everyday lives already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I also, you know, I didn't think about this, but you were saying you didn't know which major you want to go into. You were up and down about some things. And I think that's a really relatable comment because I hear a lot of times in like, I don't know what my purpose is, or how do I find my purpose and stuff like that. And we always say, you know, do what you love, you know, what's your passions, like do stuff that you actually like doing. But I think it's very important for everyone to know to give yourself grace in that moment where you might not know what you want to do, but even putting out the goal of, you know what, I'm going to give myself time to self-discover, to learn myself some more. I'm going to give myself grace to figure out, sit down with God and see what he wants me to do. And that could also be something about working backwards, just simply writing down, Lord, I want to find my purpose. Lord, help me. No, I'm gonna take this time to really figure out what it is I truly want to do and what God really wants for me. And be easy with yourself, like be gentle with yourself, because I really thoroughly believe that you can do that. And then also, like for me, growing up, y'all know this, I always knew I wanted to be a talk show host. Shout out to Tyra Banks. I don't know why she inspired me, and I was like, I want to be a talk show host. And I always said that. So I went to school for journalism, and then even when I was in school, though I always knew I wanted to be a talk show host, since everybody else was wanting to be a reporter, or that was the avenue it was going down, that's how I kind of shifted my mindset too. Like, okay, yeah, I could be a reporter. And I was kind of getting off track. I even applied for things that were reporter based, but it didn't end up happening like that. But what I always did was what my mom always told me to do, is just basically do what you want, like do what you love, follow your dreams. You could do anything. And so as God's was putting stuff in our head combined, like Inspire Fire, which led to Soul Filling Podcast. Now in my a talk show may not be exactly what I'm doing, but it is exactly what I'm doing. And so what I'm trying to say is sometimes you might not know what you want to do, but ask God for that and give yourself time to self-discover while following your passion. But also just know that if you do have a goal, it might change, it might look different, and that is okay. But that is also why it's very important to have a end goal, because I firmly believe that God doesn't put stuff into our hearts just so they could be there. And it might be looking like a picture in our head that we see, but it might not be the picture that God sees. So he's like, hey, go here, do this, do that. And you're thinking, okay, I'm going to do this because it's going to get me here. But God's actually putting you into these different places because he's crafting you to be where he wants you to be. And I firmly believe that both our desires and God's desires will line up. But all I'm saying is, first, whatever God put into your heart, you need to write that destination down. And even though you might not end there, or you will, or you might end there, just know that he didn't put that in your heart for no reason. And I hope that makes sense. But yeah.
It makes total sense. And on that note, even though I never had a career choice in mind, one thing that I can say is a good start is writing your mission statement. That's something that I did always know. And so I knew that for myself, that I didn't want to just survive. I wanted to thrive. It's a popular Maya Angelou quote. And that was always something that I held in my mind, is that, I don't want to be living paycheck to paycheck. I just want to really thrive and live life to the fullest. So I always, whenever I was navigating through life, I was picking things that would, allow me to be able to thrive and not just be mediocre. And then the other thing was when we started Inspire Fire, we sat down and we both had this same kind of mission statement. And it was that we wanted to help people in a holistic way. We wanted to help them mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. And that's what led us to Inspire Fire, and then eventually to Soul Filling Podcast. So even though, like I said, I didn't have a specific career choice in mind, even when I look back, all the positions and all the things that I did, I was doing that. I was helping people in different ways, with kind, healthy snacks. I was helping people eat healthy, introducing a new snack to them. When I was in the hospital working as a nutritionist, I was helping people with their plans. So if they were on a heart healthy plan, hey, you should eat this. I was impacting people in such a different way throughout each phase of my life, and it led me to exactly to where I needed to be. So a great book to read is Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And habit number 2 is begin with the end in mind. So like I said, even if you don't have an end career choice in mind, he suggested to get there, to develop a personal mission statement.
That is, girl, I think the whole world needs to hear that, because there's this quote that's like floating around on Instagram, and it's basically saying like, don't follow the job, follow your mission, basically. Yeah. And that is so true, Kobe, because in every interview I had, my personal mission, which is our mission, it comes up. It literally comes up every time. Like when we try to narrow down, we're like, what is soul filling? It narrowed down to what we said that night when we started Inspire Fire. When we looked at each other, it was like, what? How do we have the same exact stuff? And that is really magical. And I think we need to pay attention to those magical moments in our lives to say, look, God, this is undeniably what God wants for us to do. Because the fact that we wrote down the exact same thing in different avenues is mine.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. And then, we know we're soulmates because this happens a lot. We talk and it's literally what we're thinking. And so I'm just thankful to God for that. But I think that's so good. That is such a great tip. Everybody write that down. What is your mission statement for your life? What is it? Because that really does keep you on track to, do I need it? Do I want to take this job? Does this help people holistically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, nutritiously, physically? Does it do at least one of those things? No? Well, maybe I need to go somewhere else. So I love that.
Yes, I love that too. I love that too. And it reminds me of this this interview I was listening to by Oprah. And she was telling everyone that, no, everyone, when she finally made it early in her career, with everyone, what she said, what everyone thought was making it, when she was just starting out into her her talk show host. She just transitioned over from being a reporter to her talk show, and everybody was like, yeah, you made it, you're on TV now, you made it on TV, you're working on TV. And she said everyone kept saying that word, you made it to TV, you made it to TV. And she was like, back then that was just the goal, to make it to TV, and like, you know, so you could have a larger impact. But she said, I had to ask myself, like, okay, what do I even want to use this platform for? And so she said, I didn't want to be on TV and have TV use me. I wanted to use TV. And so the way she wanted to use TV was basically what you said. Hold on, sorry. Honey, your alarm going off. Sorry, this day alarm. I can't. Okay, use your face ID. You put in your password, not like your password. Okay. So
Wait, we can wait.
No, we can outside now.
Sorry, ladies. Sorry, ladies.
Okay, okay.
It's all good. And so
sometimes there's
sleep right here.
Plan.
Right? You know, something just happened. Nah, but yeah, he right here asleep. So his alarm is time to get up. But but no, she was just saying, I don't want TV to basically use me. I want to use TV. And so the mission that I had with having the platform of TV, I seen a lot of times many people would come on to my show. And she said one time I had someone on my show that our views were completely different, and I didn't agree with a lot of things. And she said after the show, I just felt so like unfulfilled. Like I didn't feel like I was using my platform for good. And she said from that moment, that was the defining moment of my life. Like I didn't want to use TV anymore. I wanted to use my mission to better people, to have a positive impact, a way to teach people and cultivate them and grow them. And she said, ever since then, my mission was just to do that. And many people would ask, you know, what are you doing? What's so special that you're doing that's getting your numbers up and things of that nature? She was saying it wasn't necessarily I was looking to get numbers up. I was just looking to impact lives. I was just looking to change lives. And I just think that's always been our passion, genuinely, just to help people change their lives. At one point, I remember in my life, even during college, like toward my junior and senior year in college, I just had this mission to help people in their lives. I even call myself life coaching people and counseling people. My college professors would come to me for like counseling and things of that nature, and just creating little blueprints on how to, you know, help change lives and things of that nature. And it's just been something that's always been in me. And like Kobe was saying, you may not even know what, like specifically what you want to do, but if you can get a grand scheme of things, like a grand picture of like Oprah said, like, I know I want to be on TV, but my ultimate mission is I want to impact people in a positive way. And that may not even be your mission. Your mission could be anything. Like I want to help people financially, or I want to help change lives and with my entertainment, because this is my gift, or with my art. And so it's just like really knowing what that mission is. And I love how you both mentioned, like sometimes you may be doing something for a certain period of time, and it's just to lead you into, that could just be your mission for this stage of your life, but then now it's led you into a new mission for a new chapter of your life. So And I think that's the beautiful thing about life. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing, we're not trees. We don't have to stay in one particular place. Because I know sometimes when we grow, the more we grow in life, the more we know in life, you want to do things a little differently. And so it's just like being okay with accepting your growth so that you're not keeping yourself in a box.
Yes, and it might move faster or slower than you think. I'm just looking back to so I told everyone on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter that I paid off my student loans. I mean, that I'm now debt free. And I just thought
Yes.
this was and I was debt free in May, but I wanted to make a video to correspond on how exactly I did it. But that's what got me, guys, was making the video because I didn't realize how much I paid off. And it made me go backwards to see what did I really do? Because I made this video twice, right? I made it first time and I just told them, okay, this is what I did there, and what I did there. But then I was like, no, this isn't good enough. Let me actually look at the numbers and really break down how did I do this? Because once I did the calculations, I was like, I paid off $44,000 plus, and I just didn't I was like, how? But shout out to God, because I've never made over $50,000 in my life, like annually. Coming out of school, I made $17,000 a year. But so I broke it down, and I remember when I was a connoisseur. What is it? Connoisseur? Concierge.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I was a concierge. So basically, people would come to this nice high rise, and I would be like, do you have your keys, sir? Do you have your whatever they needed? I was there for them. So whatever the rich people needed, I was there in my little suit. It was not cute. But I remember one day breaking down how long is it going to take me to pay off my student loans. I said, I want to pay off my student loans by 30. And so I did the numbers, and I realized, okay, I have to, in order for me to pay off my student loans by 30, I need to overpay this much. And so I'll break it down this much until I could just pay it off altogether, like be left with $2,000 or something like that. So I broke it down, and then so I had to work backwards, right? And so I broke it down and said, this is how much I'm going to pay more, and put it on my principal, because this is very important. Put it on my principal because it will go to your debt and to your interest. And if I pay this every month for the next 6 years, I will be done, or 7, 8 years. I don't remember how old I was. I will be done with my student loans by 30. And so when I started doing that, yes, my goals started to shift as I got older, because I was like, I need to be financially free earlier so I can move out and not feel any guilt about it. So it shift. And so since my goal shift, my destination shift a little, but I was still working on the ultimate goal of being debt free by 30, it was easier for me to shift there. And so what I'm saying is, I forgot that I even told myself I was really going to be debt free by 30, but the fact that I made an action that was automatic, because they pull it out of my account for the last all these years, it was still working. So what I'm saying is, create that destination, put a system in place that can like you don't even really notice, and then further down the line, when your goals shift and you might need to get rid of something faster, or maybe not, either way, you put that dream on automatic mode, if that makes sense. You put that destination on automatic. You made a system to make it to where you can do that. And then you look back and be like, damn, what did I just do?
Girl, and you achieved it earlier than your goal, mind you.
Girl, and then this is the funny part. When I was doing for some reason, I was trying to write it down in my Word document, and I forgot about the goals that I written down for 2020. With me and Deborah, we wrote down our goals, and I was just like, let me see, like, I was kind of feeling down. I was like, let me see what my goals were. I'm like, let me see if I even checked any of these off. And I forgot that I wrote down my goals specifically to the number. And I was like, pay off $12,000 in student loans by the end of the year. But I ended up paying it by May. But the fact that I put a number by it, and I also put numbers by how much I want to make and all that stuff, and I need to look at that now and see if it actually came true. But it's just, we say there's so much power in just writing it down, because like I said at the beginning, what the guy said is, once you have a destination, your destiny will fulfill it. Even if you tell yourself once, write it down once, your mind is like, oh, I got to get to that goal. I got to get to that goal. It's the law of attraction that we talk about all the time. But you have to put action towards it, even if that action doesn't even seem like a lot, if that makes sense.
So true. So true.
Sometimes it doesn't have to be as hard as we think, like, I want to lose weight. I haven't been working out for real since March.
Quarantine.
Girl, but what I've been doing is going for a walk every day, like for hours, 2 hours. And so I'm able to stay in shape. And so it's just like, sometimes it doesn't have to be as hard. It's just making those little changes that will gradually get you to where you want to be.
Right. Yes, it all starts with
first. Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
It starts with wait, no, say it.
I was just gonna say, it starts with actually putting that specific thing down, whatever it is, because I just love how you wrote it out to the T. Like, this is what I want to do. Write it down, make it simple, put it in black and white.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that it takes imagination to do that, which, he talks about that in Habit 2 of, highly effective people. And the thing is, with backwards planning,
I don't know
how
I'm sorry. Can you make sure they all turned off, honey? You may have snoozed it.
But I think that's the difference between, if we're comparing forward planning and backwards planning. The difference is you're able to go through these steps with the end goal as if you've already achieved it. Back when you said when you were younger, you were like, I'm gonna be debt free by 30. So you already had that goal in mind. It was like it was already done. So as you were going through these things, as you were going through life, it was just natural for you it was like that mental, you had already had it mentally, and then now the physical just had to follow. Yeah. So I think that is the important thing about backwards planning, is that you're not just, like, as I was saying earlier, going through and just kind of like, okay, I want to do this, I think I should do that, and in hope of achieving a goal, but you actually have a goal in mind that that you're going to achieve, that you have already done in your mind, and now your physical just has to achieve it. You just have to go through these steps, go through these actions to get there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was gonna say, it really just showed you, like, I ain't gonna lie, guys, like, that really broke me, because it just didn't make sense to me. But God is just so good. I'm like, when I looked at the number, I was like, this didn't make sense. Like, what you mean? Like, what you mean I paid this off and I'm still good? Like, I'm still good over here. And so, I don't know. It just made me realize, like, and this is like, you just really have to, I just realized that with that showed me that I could do anything. And if I have a goal, that I can make attainable steps to get there. And that's anything in life.
It's called future retrospection. That's what I wanted to mention. Future retrospection. And it helps you, it increases the pleasure of getting to whatever it is that you need to achieve, because now you're a goal-oriented person. Now you're like, okay, I need to hit these little bitty steps and hit these little bitty goals to get to this bigger goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in retrospect, that's what it is.
It just made me think of, like, all the aspects of our lives, like, for real. And I was just like, I don't know why that made me click when he said that destination line. I was just like, but I was just like, and we've said this before, if we have a goal, if our number is, all right, we already said it was like, we want to hit 1,000 listeners to SoundCloud. I mean, and we've been hitting that, we dropped and then we gonna hit it again. But, like, we started to hit over 1,000 for
Per
per
week.
episode, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so putting a number towards it gives you the mindset to see how can I get to that number.
Exactly.
Like, you know, if we can't just be like, oh yeah, we need actual I guess it's SMART goals. So we need a specific number to reach to elevate to, because if we don't have a specific number, if we're like, we just want to be great, we just want to have all the listeners in the world, God's like, how much is that?
Exactly.
Not even God, you're like, well, how much is that's not really like that's not an actual, that's just
Right.
some fluff in the air. Like, what is the actual number you need to reach so you could take the steps to get there?
Yes, because you know you want to monetize. Let's say you want to monetize yourself on YouTube or whatever. What's the number to get monetized? How many views you have to have?
Girl, I don't even know no more, but you have to have over 1,000 subscribers, and then you have to have like a lot of a big number of monthly views.
I want to say it was like a million views or whatever. And I want to say if you broke it down, it was like if you had 10 videos, that's 10,000 views on each video. So it's like you able to work backwards to get those to hit those numbers to get to where you need to be. You say, okay, I want to make this much money in a year. You were talking about to move out. I want to get this apartment. I need to be making this much a year. Okay, this much a year is how much divided by 12. That's this much a month. Divided by 4. That's this much in 4 weeks. Okay,
that's what I
this
did.
much a day.
That's how I broke it down.
X amount a day. So you know, okay, I need to do this, and this to make X amount each day so that I can hit my weekly goal and eventually my yearly goal.
And it's not even. You have to become serious about your goal, because you could have a goal. Y'all know I've been wanting to move out for so long, right? Like I'm like, I'm gonna move out. Now I actually have the means to move out. I have an extra job that I can move out to, but I had to think about this too. Does it go into my mission statement for my life? My other, like, we have a collective mission statement, but I also now have a newfound mission statement, even with this new financial freedom, and that is freedom, period.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want it to be like, I have these new projects that God blessed me with. Shout out to him during a pandemic.
Yes.
And I know he didn't give me too much that I can't handle, because I work hard to get those projects. I'm not gonna lie. And but I had to take a step back, because I'm like, what will allow me to have actual freedom in my life? Because I want to be able to work from anywhere in the world. And so I had to take a step back. Instead of getting myself into like a lease right now, I had to be like, okay, I'm making enough money now, but I still need some more freedom, if that makes sense. I don't know I still need to create a life that allows me to work from anywhere I want, because I'm going to want to work from that apartment because I'm paying so much money for it. And so I don't want to have to be at work for 8 hours a day in the next few months. You know what I mean? I was still, but I'll talk about that later. But I would like to be able to be where I want, and specifically that apartment, because I'm paying so much for it. And so I think this is time to like, and I haven't done this yet, because we all have, like, in high school, we have this vision for our life. After college, we have this vision for our life. After we meet the right person, we have this vision for our life. And now after you reach one goal, you're like, now what? Now what? What's next? And so I think it's very helpful to create another vision for your life. Now that you have evolved, now that you're a different person. You might be the same person, but you're evolving. So what is this new vision for my life as an evolved person? And I really want to take that some time to really write down, what does freedom look like for me? What's my career look like for me? What does, the soul feeling look like for me? So I can start attaining those goals for real. Because now we know, right? Mm-hmm. Now we know. Like we were talking about it yesterday on the phone. Y'all have some things y'all really want to do, and y'all like, okay, and this is the plan. I have this many months. By January 2020 and 2021, things are going to be different. And so I'm just want to, with these new roles I've taken into my life, I need to make sure that I'm still creating the life that is a good one for me, a freedom-based life for me.
I love that.
I love that. Because I feel like I was really talking a lot.
No, you made a lot of sense. And I do want to go back to when you were talking about how you wrote the number down, because I really want to hit on this because the same exact thing happened to me. And it was inspired by, you remember when I've been telling y'all I paid off my credit card debt. I ain't paid off all my student loans yet, but that's in the works. But my credit card debt, and I just really want to harp on credit card debt because I see that as a form of bad debt based on what you spend your credit card. I mean, what you're spending on your credit card. If you're using it for like food purchases and clothes and, you know, recreational things once, that's bad debt. But if you're using it for assets, things that's going to put money in your pocket, that could be a form of good debt. But in this case, I had some bad debt stacked up to the ceiling. And it really became a defining moment. It used to just be one of these things that just weighed heavily on my back. And it was something that I didn't want to confront, something I just wanted to like sweep under the rug and just pay the little minimum payments and not really think about it and just hoping it would go away. But it was life-changing. I mean, life-changing when I wrote the number. It's like you're confronting the boogeyman. It's like you confronting that monster in the closet or under the bed that you're afraid of as a child. It's like you looking at it like in plain sight. And it's so much power because it's like at the same time, it can be very scary or it can seem like, okay, I was never about to pay this off. But if you literally write, I'm paying off such and such, however large that number is, it really does something. It's like a light switch that flips on in the mind subconsciously that you're not even aware of. And like Tiffany was saying, even if you're not looking at it every day, or if you're not look like saying, oh my gosh, I gotta pay off this every single waking day, something in you is gonna eventually start to move to make sure that goal is achieved. And that's exactly what happened to me. It became like the moment I wrote it down, because I remember writing it down. I can't remember the exact date, but I remember when I write it, I was in the restroom. I don't know why I was in the restroom. I like to just close myself away from everybody. And I just was sitting there and I was just writing. I was reading a book. And in the book, it's called Tapping Into Wealth. And it was just basically trying to give out the blueprint on how to eliminate debt and eliminate, like this financial number. And it was saying it could be scary, but I need you to write that number down and look at it, feel the number, see the number, and now imagine that number being at 0. And so I was just like, oh, it was powerful because I was like, I didn't ever think that this could be at 0, but like just doing that exercise really was transformational. I mean, transformational. Yeah, that's the word. And so after that moment, it was just like all the money that I received in my hand, I became so intentional with it. It became like, I wasn't just I didn't even have the desire to just go out and splurge like I used to and splurge on clothes or splurge on food. Cause I love going to fast food and spending $20 a meal, like just making ridiculous purchases that I was just fine. Oh, this healthy. So I can do this and do it. But it was like, of course, there's much smarter ways to do that. And so I just want to tell us, like, when we're working backwards, writing down that end goal, it gives us the power, because I know a lot of times we give so many other people power, like, oh, the reason I can't pay this off is because of the government, or the president tripped in, or because my dad didn't start a savings account for me as a child, or it's just like every excuse under the book that we can tell ourselves if we don't take ownership of what exactly we want to do, what exactly the goal we're trying to achieve. So it's just like, it's so much power, because I think writing gives us that ownership piece. Like it allows us to take ownership over the goal that we're saying we're going to achieve. And then somehow God puts his magic in it. Like, oh, I see that's what you want. So let me assist you and send different avenues and different people and send you that extra 500, see what you're gonna do with it. Oh, you use that wisely, let me send you more, or whatever the case may be. It sends you opportunity, a new job experience. So it's just like when you have specific goals in mind, or even broad goals, just to be financially free, God is, and when you write it down, keyword here, write it down, because you have to face it. I think when you write it down, it's a form of facing that goal, facing that fear that potentially could be like making you feel like the goal is unattainable.
Yeah, I love that. I love you saying write that number down. Write that number down of how much you want to make. Like, because like when you work backwards and say, okay, to live the life that I want to live, I need to make this much money. And then also say, but does it line up with my mission for my life and my mission statement for myself? Like, I feel like we have multiple mission statements. That's what I'm basically saying. And saying, okay, you know, I can make money doing a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But will you be happy doing that? So like you saying, being intentional about the things that you select to get to this goal is also very important. And I also think that it's very much walking into God's plan, because he wants you to do the things that you love. He might put you in a predicament when sometimes you aren't doing the things that you love, so you could get to the things that you love. But I think there's so much power in being faithful to what God is telling you to do also, because you might have this goal in mind, but you've been playing it safe your whole life. You can't do that sometimes. God might tell you to leave something, leave a person, go to Canada. I'm thinking about Shameless Maya, to just pack up and do something different, to take that leap of faith. And sometimes our goal, or the achievement in our goal, the space between the life we want, the life we got and the life we want, is going to take a leap of faith. And God has to be in the midst of all of that. But we talked about this earlier on our call. It's just like, we have to be able to say, look, I've done all I can, but now it's up to you. Like, you really have to trust God in this. It's like, yeah, I'm about to do this and I trust you. And it's going to sound crazy, but once you've done all you think you could do, I feel like you really, at the end of the day, there's nothing you could do. You could just like, I trust you. And you have to know, whether I get this job or not, whether I'm in this relationship or not, I know that I was faithful to your word. So if I'm faithful to your word and what you told me to do, I know whatever next step that you're taking me on is going to be the right step. And I think it just comes to a place where God has prepared you through everything that you've been through to get to that point. And I'll just give you all an example, okay? This is a good one. Like, this is a good one. So I've been looking for like remote jobs to help, get me more financially stable, right? And so I've been applying, but I got this email from someone that I didn't apply to. And they asked me to be a social media manager for their job. They're like, we're trying to see if you could do these things. Can you send me a proposal really quickly? And the funny thing is, I had already wrote a proposal for the apartment that I wanted to go to, because I was like, I'm trying to be rent free. I'm gonna be their marketing specialist. So I sent them a proposal and like, this is what, like, if y'all let me live here for free, this is what I will do for you. And this is what you could pay me. They rejected me, right? They said no twice. And then and so, but when she asked me for my proposal, I swapped everything out from what the apartment says to what her mission was, and made my price based off of that. And so, and then also I told her I was going to send her a questionnaire about what to get your branding. Like, she's like, what's the process? So I was like, what is my process? So like, I'll send you a questionnaire, but I hadn't made the questionnaire yet. At least that's what I didn't think I did. When I got let go of a job a long time ago, and I was starting my own social media business with my brother, I created a questionnaire. And so I was like, that questionnaire I did 4 years ago, look that up and put that into a Google a Google form and sent it to her. So what I'm saying is just follow what God has for you in your heart. It may not work out. They told me no with that proposal, and we only have one client for that social media manager, the company that we had, but it all lined up to I had what I needed for this new opportunity that came out of nowhere. And so what I'm saying is like, that's what I'm saying. God will have you do things, but really he's just preparing you for what's next. And he's gonna line it up, and you're gonna realize that you have everything that you need to get to where you want to be. He's been preparing you. Now, what can you look back and pull out your arsenal and be like, okay, yeah, I'm ready. You know what I mean? So
Thanks. I love that. I love that because a lot of times we get discouraged in our current place. Like, oh God, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. Like, send me something better. But then I love how you said, like, this came from something in the past that I didn't think that I was supposed to be doing long term, or, just things that, it didn't seem like it was going to be this grand setup for where you are today. And so just really moving intentionally right now and doing your very, very best at whatever you're doing right now, because you could later on need whatever it is you're doing now in the future.
Yeah.
Or it could be, it's technically just building the foundation.
It is. And that's why
everything comes full circle a lot of times.
Yeah, that's so true. And that's why it's really important for us to enjoy this process. Because even though it's like, this was whack, bro. Like, what? Like, can you believe they did this? Can you believe or I have to do this, do that? But really, you better enjoy it, because everything that you're doing right now is preparing you for who you want to be. Not who you want to be, who you are. And I want to say that very specifically. We have to enjoy our lives right now in this very moment. Jazz and Kobe and soulmates, there's so much for us to be grateful for right now. If you're listening to this right now and you are healthy during the midst of a pandemic, this is a time to be happy. If you're able to be around your loved one at this moment, if whether it's one or a lot of them, then you are blessed. Like, if you even have a job right now during the pandemic, or even if you get some unemployment check with an extra $600, come out. You have income. You have income. So it's just like, let's look at what we are. Everything with gratitude makes our life a little better.
Yeah, and everything that you've been saying too has made me think about, sometimes in the moment when we're doing things, we might not see the benefit of it or the importance of it, but like I was saying, everything is full circle. Everything comes back full circle. And it might be some things, some trainings that you have done in the past, some skills that you acquired in the past that you might not even think qualifies you for something, today. I think about a training that I did, an organization that I was a part of in college back in 2010. We were going out into the community, and a lot of people in San Antonio do not have health insurance. And so we were doing fitness tests to help them, know their fitness capability. We were doing a BMI, we get their height, their weight, their measurements, and telling them, hey, this is where you fall on the BMI chart, right? And then we did a finger prick, and we got a little blood, and it told you in like a minute what your results were, and it told you your cholesterol numbers. Now, fast forward, when did I get the job for? In 6 years later, I'm wandering around the hospital, and I'm like, oh, they have a wellness department. What y'all do over here? Oh, we're in corporate wellness. Oh, what do y'all do for corporate wellness? Oh, we do flu shots, and we do biometric screenings. Biometric screenings? I did that when I was in college. Really? Oh, yeah, you should check out. We actually have some openings coming up in the fall. Really? Wow. And that's what I'm doing today, making money, doing what I did, a skill that I learned 5 years ago and had forgot about.
Girl, look, and now it's your income.
Exactly. Right. Traveling, doing this. Didn't even know that was me. Been able to travel and go different places from one skill that I learned years ago.
Wow.
And it all goes back
That's full
to like,
circle.
it is full circle. And it goes back to, we be so messed up sometimes. Bro, we be real
That's up to
sad, girl, uncomfortable, like really like, what is going on? But then when you look back at things like what Kobe said, she already was prepared for this. You really look back and say, God really did work everything out for my good, and he's gonna do it again. He really is. And so we have to stand on that for the, like, we have to stand on his promise to get to our promise. So I'm just really like very excited about this. And
That's what keeps me going too, because I'm just like, yeah, you know what? God has had my back so many times. Like, why am I even tripping? Like, I know he gonna come through for me this time. Like, I know. So why am I even giving my fears, my doubts, and obstacles energy when I know what God can do? I've seen him do it before. I've seen the evidence in other people's lives. So why am I even, what?
yeah,
That's what keeps me going.
yeah, that has to be what keeps you going, because if not, you probably ain't gonna do it. Because you like, because some things you can't do just based off of yourself. You have, God got to take, you got, there's a point in
that
life,
supernatural force.
that supernatural force. I was listening to this this sermon, and it was just basically, it was called Walk It Like I Talk It. And basically he said an affirmation, and he's like, I am an anomaly. And basically an anomaly is like, I am the exception. I am.
Yes.
And I need us to really think like that, because God created us, that, and he made us in the image of him, right? So that means we have the juices to create the life that we want, or what I like to say, co-create the life we want with God. And so we have to take that in, that juice, because you are an anomaly. You are going to be the change in your family. You are going to be the elevation in your family. Your kids aren't going to have to worry about paying their student loans, if they even have them. Your kids are probably going to have a business before they're 11 years old in their name. And so we are the anomaly, and we're going to teach others how to be an anomaly, to live a life of abundance.
Yes. Yes.
For real. And, you know, I mean, I look like it.
God says, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, plans to give you an expected end. Just saying, like, God said it. Like, with all these plans that we putting in place, like our humanly plans, it's so important that we not get caught up in the ego and the worldly way of life, and, you know, thinking that, and because this is me, like a person that like to be in control of things, and like just like being in control of like my finances, my family, making sure that we're in order and things of that nature. But it's just like, sometimes you just like, stuff is gonna happen and it's just beyond you. And so just understanding that God can see you through, like, through it all. And he has constantly like proven to us up into the points we are in our life. We just reflect back and think about the things that we've conquered and overcame, and the things that we're overcoming right now in this present day. It just shows me like that with the power of God, y'all, with the power of God, like, there is nothing in the world that we can't do. Like, Tiffany paying off $44,000 in credit card, I mean, not in student loan and car and whatever else debt that she had in 2 years, and not even earning that much. And I love how you put that accent on.
I said it wasn't 2 years, it was a long time.
Oh, it's 60 years. Oh yeah, since college. Okay.
Yeah, since college. Mm-hmm.
And so
it's a process, y'all.
It's a process, and I love, like, because a lot of times most people think we need all these, like, I need to have making $100,000 a year to do this, or I need to have this amount of such and such in the game, and or it's just like, just trusting the process and knowing where you are right now. You have everything you need to succeed, no matter how bad the circumstance may seem right now, no matter if you just lost a job, no matter if you I don't know, you took ill or whatever the case may be, as long as you have breath in your body, you still have the ability to turn it around and to make it and create it to be whatever it needs to be. And so I just think it's important that we don't get caught up on the I can't even say accolades, but when you have an end goal in mind, I think it helps you stay grounded, because it'll eliminate that the whole I have to compete with the next person, or I'm feeling inadequate, or I feel like I'm not doing enough, or I feel whatever the case may be. Because if you have the end goal in mind, you're not competing with the next person's end goal. You're just trying to accomplish the goal that you have set out for you. So it's like we have to get a goal that's set for us, because a lot of times when we don't have something that we're a chief aim that we're aiming for, and we see somebody else with an aim, and we be like, oh, I want that aim. And then somebody else bring a nice aim. Oh, I want that aim too. I want that aim. But it's like, figure out the aim that you want. Figure out the thing that you want. Construct it in a way to where, you can map it out, plan it out, get a goal in motion, so that when the next big thing does come up, you don't get distracted and get off your plan, or start feeling like, oh, mine is not working, or get discouraged and give up. So just being like very, very cognizant of what's for you is for you, and what's for someone else is for that person, and that's okay.
Yeah, and I also think like two things. When you are in the place that you don't really want to be, and I've struggled with this. I don't want to say don't want to be, but it's time to like do something different, because you want the life that you want to create.
Right.
Making sure that even in the midst of those places that you don't want to be anymore, being a good steward of that job, being a good steward of the time you have to spend there, because it's not going to do yourself any favors if you're not putting your best foot forward, even if someone did you wrong.
Right.
You still feel like you have to go in there. If someone's paying you, you got to go in there and do the best that you can, so God could see like, look, you've been a good steward even when you weren't even treated right. You did the right thing. You have integrity. Even when you felt like it's time to go. While you're in that space, do the thing and do it enthusiastically. And I know I ain't really been the best example of that all the time, but I think it's very important to get into that next step. And then also, when I'm saying like follow God's plan for your life, or what he put in your heart, a lot of times we only know about one way to, we have been trained or conditioned to think there's really only one way to financial freedom. Now that we're learning more on social media and from other people's experiences or the people we are around, we realize like having a high paying job isn't the only way to be financially free. Like investing in your time and effort into yourself, into your own businesses, that can get you financially free as well. But we have to work backwards. Like, how many shirts do we need? How many Soul-Filling shirts do we need to sell? How many advertisers can we reach out to get a good deal? Putting that actual goal in place and a system in place to get to where we need to be. Because I feel like we put so much, and this is for all the entrepreneurs out there. And I feel like it's okay to not be an entrepreneur at the same time. Whatever your goal is, whatever your mission is cool. But for all the entrepreneurs, I want them to know that you have to put that trust that we put so long into a workspace, you have to put it in yourself. These people have made businesses that we're working for, but you're a business. You're a business. Your knowledge is a business. And if that's the route you want to take, then I think we have to transfer our mentality into a boss mentality. It's like, well, if I'm valuable enough for them to be paying me this much, then I could probably do the same thing for my company, or take the steps to do that. And it's gonna be hard to really make that transition, maybe or maybe not, but it really is going to take a trust in yourself, a trust in God, and a change in your mentality to say, look, I can make this, I can reach this goal within my business. And sometimes you might have to do other things on the side as well, but that's just something I've been thinking about.
No, that's true. And just real quick, that is so true. It takes a first that mindset transition for you to get from, and Robert Kiyosaki talks about it in his book all the time. He wrote out the four quadrants, and in the four quadrants, on the left side you have employee and small business owner, and on the right side you have big business owner, which means 500 employees or more, and then you have an investor. And so a lot of times, in order and it's no right or wrong quadrant. In most cases, people are in all four quadrants. They are still working at a job, and they have their small business that they have on the side, and they could be an investor, or they maybe not all four, but like they can be in three quadrants at a time, most likely in most cases. But he was saying the thing, he said, think of it as a court. One is a football field, one is a soccer field, one is a tennis court, and one is a golf court. And he said, you got to think about it as a mindset shift. You can't just walk. If you've been on the football court, you can't just walk on the basketball court and just be all, AI and one hot sauce and people. You have to learn plays. You have to relearn all these it's a new way of life, a new mentality that has to shift completely for you to even understand how to even play this game. And so it's just like really shifting that mentality from, if you're looking to go from an employee, figuring out reading, taking courses, maybe going to school, taking an extra class or whatever the case, getting a mentor, someone that can literally coach your brain, your mind more so, into developing so that you can understand the way of life that you're trying to achieve, because it's so important, that mindset. And he said himself for a long time, because he was an employee for so long, it was just so hard for him to transition to becoming a business owner, not a small business owner, but an actual big business owner, because it's a difference from being a small business owner versus a big business owner, because that's even a mindset shift in and of itself, because the small business owner thinks, okay, if I don't do it, it doesn't get done right, so I have to do everything. But a big business owner has the power to delegate and say, okay, I have this system that's in place. I can train people to do this one particular system, and then they can run it. And if I go and take a month vacation and come back, my company will not only be still in afloat, but sometimes it can even be better off when I left than when I was actually here. So it's just like learning these different mindset shifts, and it's beautiful when you learn them, and it's too much to talk about all right now, but just knowing systems are and being able to create these things that can essentially change your mindset to where it needs to be, and for the vision that you have, that where you're going, so to speak.
Definitely, you're right. I love that analogy. It's a whole new game. We got
I've been playing basketball. Now I gotta learn how to play golf.
Yes, guys. Well, anything else?
No.
We got this. Work backwards. How
Yes, work
it and write it down. I have some more creating to do because things have shifted.
Same. Whew. All right, y'all. What time is it? It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. Y'all, if this is your first time tuning in on the Soul Filling Podcast, we always end our podcast with a positive affirmation. So what the heck is an affirmation? An affirmation is a statement that you are using to transform your life. Either you're transforming your life for the good, or you're transforming your life for the not so good. Even in the Bible, it states, let the weak say, I am strong. So on those days when you're feeling weak and down and out, you don't want to affirm negative things over your life. Instead, just affirm things like, I'm feeling better and better every day. I get better in every way. God got my back. Something positive to shine light on the situation. It's three of us. I'm affirming that there are millions, billions, trillions of y'all out there tuned in, or just whoever's divinely meant to be tuned in with us. So we're going to go ahead and end this thing off with our positive affirmations. Who would like to go first?
I'm ready. Every day, I am fully committed to the plan with anticipation of me hitting all my goals.
Still in that.
That one down. I would say I am trusting God to I am trusting God to make a shift in my life. And I will stand on his promises and use all the gifts and talents to uplift him and to fulfill the life I want. That was a long one.
I'm gonna just start going first. Okay, y'all gonna go last. I'll be having like the 3-word affirmations. Y'all be having a paragraph. I'll be like,
I switched my last minute good. So we just
I'll be killing again. No, but I love that. I'm still in that too. I am following through with all of my plans that are leading me to my divine destiny.
Divine destiny.
Yes.
The destination.
Let them find us. Man, that destination.
All right, guys. Please, if you're watching us on YouTube, we are here live. So make sure that you are subscribed. And if you are listening to us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, or Apple Podcasts, go ahead and subscribe there as well. But more specifically, go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star rating and write something soulful and sweet, as it will help us get up in the rankings. And yeah, guys, follow us on all our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, because we got something for y'all. And share. If something struck your heart, we will repost, and we love reading your messages. All right, guys.
Until next time, soulmates. Bye. We love y'all.
Bye.